5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome back to the Fill the Bucket podcast, episode 2. We are back. Had a blast week 1. Real excited. Appreciate the 26 views. 10 of them might have been me just viewing and editing, but regardless, even one person checking it out, really appreciate it. Again, this has just been something that I've really wanted to do, really looked forward to doing. I love talking sports. So, to those that are listening, if there's anyone out there that would love to talk about sports, just get at me. I'm at Fill the Bucket 1 on Twitter, and the YouTube page is the Fill the Bucket podcast. So if you ever want to get a hold of me, send me a message, please do. I would like to eventually have someone on and we can talk sports and that great back and forth. I really like having those kind of debates with people. I'm gonna have a couple of guests on in the future. One guy, he's a Tom Brady apologist. He loves him some Brady, considers him the GOAT. So it'll be a good debate. Good debate coming up there. Hopefully, a good discussion, and we'll see where that takes us. Once again, I want to shout out to the Waranto podcast. They're doing great things. Their last episode was great. They're talking on social issues and kind of what's going on and the responsibility of one's own versus the communities and the people around that. So if you're into deep conversation, that's definitely a podcast to get you going. They like to joke, they like to talk some smack, but they also had some great topics last week. So it's Waranto podcast. Without further ado, let's get into things. The Buffalo Bills. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna eat my words on that one. I thought no chance the Buffalo Bills win in Minnesota, which just goes to show you at any given Sunday, like in the movie, any given Sunday, anything can happen. Uh, Still in shock. If you're Minnesota, your offense didn't look particularly well against Green Bay. Put up late points, roughing the passer really got them to a tie. Probably should have lost that game. And you come against Buffalo and stink the joint. You have a short week playing Thursday in LA, and LA is looking like a trailblazer. So they're in tough this coming week. It's a short week. You're the road team. Things don't usually favor. Kirk Cousins, brief minute. You're the highest paid player. You called your shot. You wanted out. You need to go do something now. It is your time to step up and show that you are that franchise quarterback that is, getting paid franchise dollars. And who am I to talk about another person's money? So you got your money, but it's time for put up or shut up. There's a talented team there. They got a solid running back in Delvin Cook. Diggs just got paid. That defense, Mike Zimmer always focused on defense. So now is the time for that to take hold. But just wanted to give a quick shout out to those Buffalo Bills who made me stick it, so to speak. And Bills Mafia is probably alive and well and jumping into some fires because that is what they do. Uh, the most entertaining game I'd have to say was the Falcon Saint game. Back and forth, back and forth. Like I said, those teams are so matched up. I tend to go towards the home team in those situations, but honestly, you can't even argue picking the Saints if you did pick the Saints. If you're in pick'em leagues or anything like that, you can't argue that. What a game by the Falcons, by the Saints. Drew Brees running like a young spry man at the age of 38 was great to see. Um, yeah, the Green Bay Packers, like I said, Aaron Rodgers, that knee, That knee is going to be problematic for him, and you can see he's just not the same player. He's still going to get you those yards, he's still going to get you those things, but it's just not the same offense when he's not able to move around and do those things. Uh, Colts and Eagles. Hey, Carson Wentz is back in the fold, back doing his thing. It's what else can you say? It's good to see him back. Only 9 months after ACL surgery. Um, I've suffered a knee injury, and I can tell you, I don't think it's going to be 9 months for the normal person, but him getting in there and getting out and putting that work in, it's really a testament to him. Uh, Everyone's making a big deal of Andrew Luck not being able to throw a 20-yard plus pass, but the guy that he came after, um, Peyton Manning couldn't throw a deep ball. So I think that it's a little overblown that statement. Oh my gosh, Andrew Luck, I'm concerned. Yeah, deep ball, you're not gonna put him in. But I think his smarts, his intellect, and his ability to fit it in the windows, and just like Peyton, know his physical limitations, but work with what gets him and got him to the show. And it wasn't a big deep ball. He's never been a Cam Newton. He's had a strong arm, but he's never been a Cam Newton. He's never been even the backup quarterback. He's never been a Jacoby Brissett. But he's going to be able to hit those intermediate and shorts. If he can't hit those, then I think we have something to be worried about. The Raiders, Dolphins. Classic Dolphins, trailing, take the lead. This is a team, then. This is my team, as I've let it be known. I'm a huge Dolphin fan, but I try and look at things in a realistic perspective of I don't look at their 3-0 and say, "Oh, I'm really excited." I'm scared to death as a Dolphin fan, and maybe that's a pessimist in me. I'm from Toronto, where just my whole life crazy bad things have happened to Toronto sports teams, whether it be the Leafs, the Raptors, that LeBron guy beating the Raptors many times in the last few years of the playoffs, or the Blue Jays, who had 20 years before their recent 2-year run of no playoffs. So I'm not used to seeing a lot of winning, and then being a Dolphin fan, I can't lay claim to a perfect season. I wasn't even thought of during that time, but they came in, handled business. This week will be a big week for them, going to New England, and we'll touch on that a little bit later. But good comeback. The Raiders are right there. I think they're doing some good things. And the Dolphins are 3-0, and they should be happy. They've won that first quarter of the season. Keep it rolling. Broncos Ravens, like I said last week, no disrespect to Case Keenum, no disrespect to fans of the Denver Broncos, but that guy is who he is. He's gonna do some things, and then he's not gonna do some things. Aside from the couple of years of Peyton Manning, which even in that last little bit was not classic Peyton. John Elway has not been able to find a quarterback. It's Tim Tebow, who he inherited. He tried the Paxton Lynch experiment, who he drafted. No one ever talks about that. He drafted Paxton Lynch. He viewed him as the guy, and he was not able to pan out. And now, right now with Case Keenum, it's just not looking fluent. The offense is not looking fluent. That defense, you're wasting a great defense. And in today's NFL, unfortunately, this isn't the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. This isn't the Seattle team where Russell Wilson had to make a few plays, or the Ben Roethlisberger early years, or even Brady. Like, it's not those teams. And it's hard in this league to win like that. So the Ravens, again, not looking flashy, not looking overly impressive, grinded out a tough win. Bengals Panthers. This is actually a really back and forth game. Real surprised, really impressed coming away with what I'm seeing in Cincinnati. They're again a team that I'm a little bullish on, but as long as they keep playing and putting the effort with Joe Mixon coming back, they'll be in some games. But Cam holding it down, doing his thing, that defense getting some timely stops. So big win for the Panthers. Sound the alarms if you're in Houston. Giants and Texans. Saquon doing his thing, coming to life. Eli letting the ball out. Texans. Bill O'Brien. I'm going to say that seat is warming up. That seat is definitely warming up. I think he should be concerned if If I were him, I would be a little concerned of what my future in Houston is looking like. Deshaun Watson. Uh, I've heard this many of times as a fan, just watching sports radio, and I've always thought that too. You don't know who you really are until a team is able to have a look at you. So teams were able to have a brief look with only 4 or 5 games before Deshaun Watson got hurt. But it seems like they figured him out. He's forcing things, he's pressing things, he's trying to get it to DeAndre Hopkins. But what he needs to do is do the things that made him successful in that first month where he took over for Tom Savage last year. He's not doing that. He's trying to force things, trying to take the game into his hands. The Houston offense, the OC, Bill O'Brien, who does run the plays and call the plays, they have to make the game simple. They need to take the approach that many coaches have done with early guys coming in. Cam Newton had his college playbook essentially for his first couple of years. Andrew Luck had versions of that. RG3 had versions of that. Uh, I think you need to set up your quarterback for success and then build towards those skill bases that once he's comfortable and confident that he can play in this league, work on fine tune some of the things that he needs to work on. But just an ugly performance from the Texans, and if I'm Bill O'Brien, I'd be quite worried. Good win for the Giants, and like I said, this Giant team is not a bad 0-2. They are what I would call a good 0-2, now 1-2, and we should see. Titans versus Jags. That is me just banging my hand against the table because what did I say last week? I was intrigued to see if the Jaguars would have been 2 up from that performance against the Patriots the week before and have a letdown against Tennessee, who always beats Jacksonville, by the way. Forgot to mention that, but you think Blaine Gabbert coming in, probably going to be the quarterback. Mariota can't barely even throw, so they said. They come in and grind out a 9-6 win. If you're that Jacksonville defense, whenever you probably have faith in Blake Bortles, he has a week like this that just makes you scratch your head and say, can he be the guy that gets us to a Super Bowl? And the jury is still out. I was confident, but I needed to see them perform a lot better than they did. They're still a good team, but I'm really intrigued how they respond in week 4. 49ers and Chiefs. Oh, poor Jimmy G. Torn ACL. Gotta play smarter, is what I've heard people say. Gotta be better, this and that. Ran a little recklessly, but that could happen anytime, anywhere. Real tough blow for the 49ers uh, and what they're trying to build in their program. And now you kind of look, okay, when they had CJ Beathard in there last year, they were 0-11. So what will happen to them this year? Who knows? He might have that might have been a great growing experience, but if the Nate Peterman experience from Buffalo is any kind of history lesson, chances are a guy that didn't succeed his first time might not succeed the next time in the same system, doing the same things. But don't want to gloss over the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes setting a NFL record with I think 13 or 14 touchdown passes in the first week, and man, he is just letting it fly. Such a balanced attack they have. That defense scares me right now, but I feel once they get Eric Berry back, they will be a force to be reckoned. Again, you don't judge anything in that first 4 weeks. You just don't, but they're gonna be a good team. Mahomes, once the league again figures him out, he'll have his ups and downs. But what this team has that they haven't had always is they have that balance. They have a tight end in Travis Kelce who can hit you in the middle, do the outs, do the ins. Everyone thinks Tyreek Hill's just a deep bomb. He can take a reverse, he can take a handoff, he can take a slant. He just has a multitude of ways in which he can beat you for a touchdown. And then Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt showing that last year was not a rookie fluke, coming in, doing his thing, and just able to pound that rock. So that team, I'm excited to see that team in the later months to come. Chargers and Rams. Battle of LA. Big brother in terms of who has more history there. The Rams took care of business. Todd Gurley, whew, that is a bad man right there in Todd Gurley. Goff doing enough to supply. Brandon Cooks solid. That defense solid. They're just a really solid team. And right now, like everybody else, I gotta say they're looking legit. I'm not ready to call them the favorite yet. Their schedule gets a lot tougher in that second half and back half of their season, as most division winners' schedules do. But I'm excited to see how they rock and roll. They're coming into a short week this week. Again, let's see if they're getting higher, feeling great about themselves, and have a little letdown. But that was a good win for the Rams. For the Chargers, they're just close. They're close in all these games. They Philip Rivers has always been that guy that will get you to the dance, but can't quite get you inside the dance floor or dance hall or whatever you want to call it. Shout out to all my dance hall people. Uh, won't get you to that finish line. So it was a typical Charger performance in my estimation. Cowboys and Hawks. Those Cowboys. That Dak, step up, buddy. You gotta start taking control of this team. I wouldn't say he was the main reason they lost. I think Zeke had a tough game, crucial fumble as you're marching. Uh, holding penalty, just things taking away your positive plays. I know fans in Dallas have been irate with some of the play calling that's gone over the years with Jason Garrett and things like that. But they're close. They're a decent team. I think they'll be back and forth. One week they'll look great, the other week they won't. The Hawks, they're I'm still not sold on the Hawks. Uh, I think they're missing their key elements. Uh, I think not having Cam back there, uh, not having Sherm back there, Richard Sherman. They were known for attitude. I think that attitude is just gone. This was a good step for them, going back to the running game and doing those things, but they gotta show me it more than one weekend. There is turmoil there. Earl Thomas does want out. He's let it be known. Again, I love flair based players, so him taking a bow to the Cowboys, saying, "You're welcome. Now come get me," or else this would have happened probably to the other team. Uh, it's probably a wake up call, and I would not be shocked if he ends up in a Dallas uniform before the end of this year. Bears and Cardinals, ugly offensive performance, but man, that defense, that Khalil Mack, John Gruden, buddy, you need to own that one. We'll see what the draft picks end up as, but when you have a known quality player, you don't give up on him like that. Uh, so offense needs for the Bears just needs to get it together, and that team might do some great things. The Cardinals, Sam Bradford out, Josh Rosen in. Uh, what else can you say? They're a team in the rebuild, and not my cup of tea for a team to watch. But no disrespect to any Cardinal fans or anything like that. But they're in a rebuild. They have solid talent. It's a shame that Larry Fitzgerald's gonna have to play out the string like this. But a big bear win. Patriots Lions. The lion roars again. Yeah, I said it. The Lions roar again. A big win for that team. And before everybody sounds the alarm on the Patriots are known for these slow starts. In September and October, they're like a car going in for a tune-up. They're getting everything. They're getting their spark plugs all put together. They're getting clean. They're getting the rust out. They're doing all those things. And come November, December, January, they gradually become more of the vehicle that they used to be and used to. This is no different. I think they're figuring out. Uh, Julian Edelman will be coming back. Josh Gordon, for however long he does come back, will be coming back, and I think that's exciting. I think that's important if you're a New England fan to think of. And I'm hearing fans from New England making excuses. No, own it. You've had great success, so just own that your team will be back where they always are. And if they're not, then guess what? Something terribly's happened. Brady has probably fallen off that ledge that everyone feels he is. He will at some point before the age of 46 when he'd like to play, or 45, and then we can be worried. Let's wait. Let's not have an overreaction to a couple of games. But big win for the Lions, and congratulations to Matt Patricia on his first win as the Detroit Lion coach. Steelers and Bucks. Report comes out. Lev Bell wants out. Or sorry, not the Steelers are fielding offers for Le'Veon Bell. I think Le'Veon Bell does want out, but I think they are fielding offers now and open to that. But for one night, a big win for them over Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay tried to make a little late run, and now the interesting quarterback controversy coming out of Tampa Bay is who will be the starter for them next week. So that's a week 3 recap. I anyone interested that I won 9 of my games this week, so that was not bad, but could have been better. I think that Minnesota one was tough. The Jacksonville was tough. But moving on to week 4, Minnesota and the Rams. Short week. I'm going with the Rams. I think Kirk Cousins, to keep this game close, is going to have to ball out. And I just think on a short week, it's not going to happen. The Rams are for real. I'm picking the Rams. Jets and Jaguars. I think the Jets are a team that is figuring it out. I think that Sam Darnold is going to be a great quarterback in this league. But I think it's early and he's going through those growing pains. I'm going with the Jaguars. It's going to be another tight defensive game, as most Jaguar games are. I just think they will do just enough to get that win. Miami, New England. New England's home team. I think they're the better team. My Miami people, please, 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 please. I was able to add a couple of Dolphin fans, so I hope if you take a listen to this, you understand it's nothing personal. I just think that the Patriots are the better team, and with saying that, they will show it on Sunday and they'll get the win. Philadelphia and Tennessee. Honestly, I have no idea how the Tennessee Titans won last week. With that being said, I am going with the Eagles. I think Carson Wentz, another week back, is going to be a little more comfortable, and I'm going to pick the Eagles in that one. Houston, Indianapolis. Ask me this when the season came out, and I'd be instantly saying the Texans, but I am picking the Colts in this one. I think Deshaun Watson doesn't look comfortable in the pocket. I think he's scattering a lot. I don't think they're complimenting him with enough of a run game. And with that, I'm going with the Colts. I think the Colts have been in every game this season, and even though Andrew Luck cannot throw deep currently, he knows his body and he knows what to do to make himself have a successful game. So he and the Indianapolis Colts will get that win. Ayo Buffalo, ayo Buffalo. The 1-2 Buffalo Bills versus the Green Bay Packers. I am not on the Buffalo Bills bandwagon. I am picking Green Bay. I think the Bills come back down to earth, and Green Bay will take a strong defensive rush, have a strong defensive rush against Josh Allen, make him uncomfortable, and try and get in his grill, so to speak, and Rodgers will do just enough. I'm picking the Packers in this one. Detroit versus Dallas. This is a tough one. Crazy how quick sports changes in a week. If you asked me this last week, I'd be like, yeah, the Cowboys, absolutely. But one week later, Detroit's looking great. Dallas was looking horrible. That being said, in a close game, I always tend to go with the home team, so I'm going with the Cowboys in a close one. The Bucks and the Bears. Ugh. Short week. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick gives that team belief, and he will be in. I'm going with the Bears, however. I think the Bears defense is going to be able to get to Fitzpatrick, and I think after this week they will have their bye, and after the bye they will turn the reins over to Jameis Winston. Cincinnati versus Atlanta. Totally down to go with Atlanta. I'm a big fan. I've always been a big fan of the offense that Atlanta possesses. I think they have so many weapons. I don't know if Devontae Freeman's playing yet. As I'm recording this episode on a Thursday, it's hard to say. But even Tevin Coleman, he's shown that he can fill in. Ridley's came into his own. Picked him up Sunday morning after I did my first episode, so it was a good luck charm. Calvin Ridley, Julio, Matt Ryan looking very comfortable in that Sarkisian offense in year two. I'm going with the Falcons. Seahawks and Cardinals, Battle of the Birds. Uh, this one's a tough one, but I'm going with Seattle. I think they're going to get some pressure on the rookie, and they're going to make life difficult for him. I'm going with the Hawks. Raiders and Browns. The first start for the first overall pick, Baker Mayfield. Uh, this is going to be a pretty good, sneaky good game. I feel. I think the Browns have been in every game and they've shown what they're about. I think a West Coast, East Coast team going west though. I'm always hesitant about that. A little more hesitant when it's a West Coast team going east. But in this game, I am going with the Browns. For the first time in 2 seasons, I am picking the Browns to win a football game. Go Browns. Uh, New Orleans and the Giants. Saquon versus Alvin Kamara. That's going to be a great running back matchup. I'm intrigued to see how Eli plays back at home after a good week last week. I'm going with the Saints on the road. Breeze in that passing game. I think the defense is going to smother Saquon and get after Eli. So I'm going with the Saints. 49ers and Chargers. California game again. I am picking the Chargers. There's not much of a analysis to give to that game. I think they have a better team. I think with Garoppolo being out, the 49ers are going to have a tough go at it. I'm going with the Chargers once again. Ravens and Steelers. This is always a tough matchup. On paper, the Steelers are the better team, but the Ravens and Steelers always throw the records out the window, they say in sports. And this is a game that I truly believe that you throw out the records for this. That being said, a close game. I think this offense is finally getting rolling in Pittsburgh. I'm picking Pittsburgh at home for the victory. Kansas City and Denver. High altitude. Does that mean that ball is going to get moving? Uh, Von Miller versus Patrick Mahomes. I think them meeting and how that defense plans to stop all those weapons is going to be intriguing to see. But I just don't think, and I don't trust Denver's offense. I'm going with Kansas City. Bold prediction. Patrick Mahomes throws another 4 touchdowns, and they get the victory. That is all for the football portion of this episode. I'm going to take a quick break. When I come back, we're going to touch lightly on the NBA. Media Day happened. We're going to touch briefly on that, and we'll talk in a moment. NBA Media Day has come and gone, and LeBron has donned the LA Lakers jersey. Kawhi has donned his Toronto Raptor jersey. And Kawhi, me living in Canada and the Raptors being our team, said more in that opening interview or media availability. Part of my clock there, it's 3 o'clock where I am. Um, really polished, right? The media got more out of him there than I think I ever heard out of him in San Antonio, and he had a epic laugh, which if you're not aware, go onto YouTube and check that out. I think a lot of news coming out of these media days. a little bit before Jimmy Butler wanting a trade. I'm going to go into NBA depth next week. Next week's episode, we're going to have a rundown uh, of who I think is going to be representing the East, who I think is going to be representing the West, the impact that LeBron being in the West is going to have on the East, who I think is going to be in the MVP, where I think Jimmy Butler will go if he hasn't already been traded. That will be a big focus, but I just wanted to briefly be able to talk about the media days and what it what it entails. It means it's such a great time in the season. Uh, it's almost that time for and by season I mean sports season. It's almost that time where everything gets rearing up. I want to hear from you, the listeners, what you guys think of the Jimmy Butler trade talk. How LeBron is looking in that Lakers jersey. I've heard reports that people are saying they're going to the Western Conference Finals. I don't agree with that. I'm a big LeBron fan, but I'm not crazy. Where you guys think the Raptors or your own team is going to finish? I want to hear all these things in the coming weeks. But with that being said, before I go, I just wanted to briefly talk about loyalty. Uh, LeBron was asked a question about loyalty, and I've always been intrigued with that whole topic because I find loyalty, and that gets spit around a lot when it comes to players. But when a team cuts you or a team lets you go, it's business. So I, I'm intrigued to hear, hopefully, or in the comment sections from people regarding why do we as fans expect players to be loyal when and we don't have those same expectations from the management side of things. And I think LeBron has played things perfectly in controlling his narrative and his career and doing things his way. I think everyone looks at the decision and judged him based on that, but the intentions were good. The 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 outcome of it maybe not so much. And I think that was a time where a man was very young and maybe didn't quite realize the impact that he had on where he was playing, even though it was his hometown. I'm intrigued. I got to see LeBron play his final home game uh, last season, and that was incredible. So I'm just so intrigued, and I'm always so interested when I hear the word loyalty thrown out and what that means. I think players treat it like a business, and as they should, because the teams do. It's not about loyalty. If it was about loyalty, players would be able to choose where they go. Players can't choose where they go until they become a free agent. They are drafted to a team. A team selects them. They have no say into where they are going. So I think for them, they have shown loyalty. They played out their contract. They played hard. To me, that is being loyal. Now they have chosen to put their loyalty into another situation. And as you've seen in sports, anything can happen. So before people get all mad and on players all the time, I think we need to look and say, well, why don't we hold these the management accountable when they trade our favorite player? We really like a guy and they release him. Well, it's business is what you'll probably think, but it's also business on the other side. Everyone always expects for players to take the hometown discounts in and give those kind of things away, but we never had that same expectations from the management team, and we as fans must do that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my spiel. I just wanted to talk briefly about NBA talk. Like I said, we're going to have a heavy dose of NBA talk next week. It was a pleasure to talk to you. I had a blast today. I'm hoping I get better at this. I'm really loving it though. It's a great release for me. And once again, if you are interested in ever commenting or talking uh, about sports related topics and having a little debate, I'm happy to have anybody on. I think it's great when you can hear multiple people and we can have those conversations. So please, I look forward to it. Once again, at Fill the Bucket One, Twitter, Fill the Bucket Podcast for YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great I think I went a little bit over half an hour this time, so we're getting a little bit longer, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, heavy on the football talk. Next week we will talk basketball. Leafs getting started. Look forward to it. Talk to you next week.